It's October 28th on Cathedral Hill in St. Paul, Minnesota. Benny Carter, it is a pleasure to meet you and hear you perform.
Thank you, Leigh. It's a pleasure to be here, and so very good of you to introduce me so well as you've done, and all those beautiful things you said about me. I don't know. Gee, I find out on each time I said, gee, who's he talking about? But I guess it was me, and I appreciate it.
Benny Carter, as a composer, I hope I can focus and phrase this well. You've had kind of a split life. In other words, you compose material that you really, it springs from your heart, and then the other side is the music to specification, which is a little bit schizophrenic in a way, because you have to do moods for visual images. On the other hand, you have created compositions like Blues in My Heart, Another Time, Another Place, Evening Star, and those are right from the heart. How do you split that muse?
Oh, I don't know. I just go straight ahead, and I do very little planning, but I'm forever having things just run into my head, and I don't know from whence they come, and I write them down.
Is there a time of day or night that this works, or can it occur almost any time?
Oh, just any time, yeah. I can be in bed asleep or half asleep, or I can be driving in the car, I can be riding on a plane. It just comes.
Once upon a time, I remember talking to Duke Ellington, and he phrased the compositional creative spirit. He said for him, always searching for the elusive melody.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. He certainly found it.
At least 1,000 times.
Oh, and many more probably. Many that we've never had exposure to.
Is it a bedeviling process, somewhat like visual artists, who have to come up with images?
Oh, I don't think so. I think that it's with a person with Duke's talent, I think it just flows, Sure.
And I think you're being modest by leaving another soul out of it by the name of Benny Carter.
Well, I don't like talking about me, but if someone else, likes what I do, I'm very appreciative. And I'm not sure that they know right from wrong.
Your role in the educational field is intriguing. You have an honorary doctorate from Princeton, and you have participated in a number of educational processes. I was thinking, this is 1992. Looking back in time, as you have gone through life, I suppose the whole career pattern has been an educational process, whether it's learning on your own or educating as a leader and directing your sidemen. It must have been a tremendous battle in a way with your kind of value system against the marketing system in American music.
Well, I don't know. For my time at Princeton University and the time at Rutgers University, which was a much briefer time, of course, just a matter of like a week in residence, and I also received an honorary from there too. I have found it a learning experience for me. I think that in most instances I learned more from the students than they did from me, but I wouldn't tell them that.
But that is the heart and soul of the whole educational stimulus, I think, isn't it?
Well, it's in exchange. That's what it is, of course.
As you look at the music business today and the new technology called the CD, and you go back to those days when you wrote to specification in the sense that the composition had to last probably 3 minutes, and you had that limit. When you were writing to the medium of the 78 RPM record, was that a discipline or was that just a kind of magical limitation?
I don't quite know what you mean by that.
Well, today the CD and the LP, of course, allows you to spread out and you know to improvise and go beyond or write longer arrangements, suites and
Not necessarily, because in the olden days, I may speak of them as olden days. There's a lot of suites, on just LPs or just on the old 33s or the 78s, and then the what do you call them? The transcription size, 12-inch, yeah, but that were not yet LPs. But you could do a lot of that.
and so really there was no limitation as far as the creative force was concerned.
No, well, think of the things that Ellington did way back there, before CDs and before cassettes.
And the new technology, the compact disc, and how does that have any particular influence on the way you approach the medium of recording?
No, not at all. I don't think in those terms, and actually I don't know much about that end of it. But it doesn't matter what the medium is. I would perform the same.
Briefly, just looking back in time and little segments here and there, I'm intrigued by that assignment you had with the BBC in London prior to World War II in the 30s. A marvelous radio system. What was your observation of it and its impact on you at the time?
Well, that's quite a long time ago, and I enjoyed it, and I was very cordially received. And that's about it. I can say I enjoyed it. And there were some very fine musicians that I had the opportunity to write for, and that's about all I can think of at the moment.
The one other thought comes to mind. Working tonight with the young lions of this region and generally in your settings at Princeton, Rutgers, and other places, what's the future as far as you can see concerning jazz as an American art form? Is it in good hands?
Oh, it's in excellent hands, yes. There's a lot of happy, and good things going on, a lot of good young musicians coming up with good ideas. And you're quite right, it's in good hands, yes.
And now the mystique of the brass and the reeds. You leaped a few barriers playing trumpet as well as woodwinds, and in its day and time, and there are very few musicians today who perform that way, maybe Iris Sullivan and you and a few others, that was a tremendous leaping of a musical barrier. How did it come about?
Oh, I don't know. I just liked the instrument and picked it up. Both instruments. That's about it. No long story to it, really.
Benny Carter, I know it's been a long day and a long 2 days, and it's been a pleasure to meet you on stand here at Suzette's on Cathedral Hill in St. Paul, and I just wish you the best of health and continued marvelous performance. You warm our hearts in this part of the world.
Thank you very much, Leigh, and I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing as long as they let me. Thank you so much.